welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, which I am just like so over the moon about, I'm dedicating this video to my experience reading The Diary of Anne Frank. Now this is my first time ever reading this book, and when I tell you it's experience that I can't even explain, it's undescribable. I wanted to read this book for several reasons. I wanted to read it in August because August was the month that she was captured. I believe on the 3rd, was it? And also too, it's the 75th anniversary. And Random House sent me a copy of this. I requested it and they sent it to me, and so by me reading this, I'm fortunate enough to live in a city where I can access a Holocaust museum. And that's exactly what I did. What I wanted to do was read the book and then go to the museum, and I had a fantastic time. I was able to listen to a Holocaust survivor, and then I did a tour, which I will show you guys all of that. There again, it's undescribable. I don't even know how to even form a sentence. I mean, I think if you've read The Diary of Anne Frank, you know exactly what I mean. Or reading this book, it's bittersweet because you know basically how it's gonna end. But I just have to say, by reading this, Anne had so much insight for a teenager, for a child. It just was, oh my goodness. I'm reading this and I'm like, in the beginning, you know, she's like 13, and I'm thinking, I didn't have none of that knowledge or intuition or courage or strength or faith that she did. Anne Frank was unbelievable. She honestly was. And I adore her writing. Her writing it's like little poems. One thing that got me, she said, an empty day, though clear and bright, is just as dark as any night. Okay, yeah guys, I keep on saying it's an undescribable feeling. I don't know how to feel. I just finished this book basically like a couple of hours ago, and I just got off of the tour from the museum, and my feelings are all over the place. I have to sit with it. That's how deep. I mean, you guys know it's the Holocaust, so there's no understatement when it comes to tragedy. It's beyond that. But yeah guys, I just wanted to show you guys the museum. I also will link down below a couple of documentaries that I watched. Also link down below the location of the Holocaust museum that is located in Farmington Hills, Michigan. If you guys are ever in Michigan, ever in Detroit, Metro Detroit, you know, area, Oakland County, please visit it. And also, that was my first time, it will not be my last. This is a museum that you have to kind of go to a couple of times in order to experience everything. But I would encourage you guys, if you do go, please get a tour guide, because it helped like tremendously. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you when it comes to the intro of the video. Please watch the rest, because when you just see everything from this museum, it is beyond flabbergasting. It is just, yeah. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoy.
Vintage World War II boxcar. We purchased this from Germany several years ago. It was located outside the building, and just in the last several years did we bring it inside of the part of the gallery. Now, we don't have any official documentation as to where this train traveled, but ladies and gentlemen, it is safe to say the boxcar right in front of you at some point transported Jews to their deaths. 10 times what we have in now, in the same dimensions. Instead of 10, you're talking 80 to 100 people in the same size of this. You're in like sardines. These doors are not open, they're bolted shut. If it's the dead of winter, you're freezing to death. If it's the heat of summer, you're burning up and dying of thirst. And you're not traveling for an hour or two. My mom, again, was in a cattle car like this for 3 days and 3 nights. No food, no water, a bucket in the corner to go to the bathroom. If you're not close to the bucket, you can't get to the bucket. So think about the inhumanity of that. There would be a lot of death on the train. Young kids, elderly, would not make it for 3 days and 3 nights. A lot of death. And not only the physical terror you're going through, think about the psychological trauma that you're experiencing. You might have been separated from your parents and grandparents, and you don't know what in the world you could have possibly done to deserve this kind of treatment. I mean, this is a car similar suited for animals, and even animals would be treated better than Jews. Most people had 2 hours to live. I'll show you the picture of my mother. She had just gotten off this train. I'll show you a picture of her now. And I'll tell you the story of Joseph Mengele. I'm sure some of you know who Joseph Mengele was. Mengele was the physician at the camp here. I say physician in loosest terms. He was the man in charge of the selection process. So as Jews disembarked from these trains, they were forced into lines. To the right meant temporary safety, forced labor. If you were a young adult, if you could work, if you could help the Nazi cause, you'd be selected to the right, able to live and work and help the Nazi cause. If you were infirm, if you had a physical or a mental disability, or if you were young, or if you were elderly, that wouldn't be good. You'd be sent to the left, which was instantly sent to the gas chamber. So my mom had sprained her ankle just prior to this trip. She was walking with a cane, which wouldn't be good. As they're approaching Mengele, she throws her cane away. My mom was 25 in this photograph, 25 years old. She turned to her younger sister, age 22, named Zekelman. Zekelman had an accident with a leg, so at an early age, so she walked with a limp, which wouldn't be good as they're approaching Mengele. So my mom turns to her sister and says, "You better walk straight." They approach Mengele. Mengele looks my mother's family over and says, "To the right," which was good. A few seconds later, my mom's sister starts limping again. Mengele turns around and sees this. "Halt!" Grabs her by the neck. "You're lame." To the left. That's the last my mother saw of her sister. In the 1930s, this symbol is 3,000 years old. It developed in the Indochina, Japan area. Okay? It was a symbol of life and well-being and good luck. How horrifically ironic later it become the symbol of evil, of hatred, of anti-Semitism. Whatever your source of news was this morning, you saw these words at the bottom of the page or the screen, and fill in your religion when I say blank. The blank, fill in your religion. The blank is our misfortune. How would that make you feel? Hitler gave Henry Ford the Grand Cross of the German Eagle Honors, the highest honor, most distinguished honor you can give a foreigner. Ford was the first American to get it. Not just Ford, Father Charles Coughlin, Shrine of the Little Flower. Here are his publications. Right here in Royal Oak, 12 Mile in Woodward. Father Coughlin had a radio show on CBS Radio, spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric to millions nationwide. It was on, in this town, WJR, 5,000 people confined to a 1.5 mile square area. There would be very little food, a lot of starvation, no running water, so no hygiene was terrible. Not like you could take a bath or a shower, right? What would normally house 4 to a room would now have to house 10 to 15. And again, food was very scarce. A lot of kids would be freezing to death, dying of starvation. But in the Warsaw Ghetto, there were classrooms teaching kids schoolwork. At night, Jews held dance recitals and song contests, trying to tap into their humanity, enrich themselves, keep their spirits alive. Yes, some people got turned off to the belief in religion. Other people became more pious and more religious. You ask yourself, wasn't there resistance? Didn't anybody fight? Yes. The ZOB, Jewish Fighting Organization, this was, the Warsaw Ghetto had been liquidated down to 55,000. This was in 1943. The plan was for the Nazis to come in, Germans to come in, and liquidate the ghetto in 3 days. The Jewish Fighting Organization gathered weapons and made pistols, brought in, smuggled in weapons, pistols, made Molotov cocktails, that sort of stuff. They fought off the Germans for a month. What was supposed to take 3 days took a month, but in the end, everybody essentially was slaughtered. Nuremberg trials took place, and some of the numbers are just astounding. Some of the major perpetrators were sentenced to hang, but only 22 were indicted on 4 counts. I mean, from 1945 to 1992, West German courts issued indictments on 100,000 connected to the Holocaust. Out of that 100,000, 6,400 were convicted. That's 6%. 6% were punished, 94% went unpunished. And even today, people obviously very elderly have gone unpunished. The righteous groups of people, countries who helped save Jewish lives. Albania is a wonderful country. They have a code of conduct in Albania called BESA. If you're a foreigner, if you're a visitor to Albania, they'll treat you like a royal dignitary. Almost all the Holocaust survivors, or all the Jews that were in Albania, roughly 200 survived the Holocaust. Varian Fry was an American journalist sent by a rescue organization to France. Upon Germany's invasion of France in 1940, he organized escape routes, he forged documents, saved somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 Jewish lives, including famed artist Marc Chagall. Irina Sendler was a wonderful lady. She was a Polish social worker stationed in the Warsaw Ghetto. That was the biggest ghetto. She smuggled 2,500 kids out of that ghetto, led them to safety. She recorded their identities so they could be, she hid them in convents, in orphanages, in hospitals, in schools and homes. She recorded their original identities so after the war they could be reunited with their biological. You might remember this entry, February 1944. Anne writes, "From my favorite spot on the floor, I look up at the blue sky, the bare chestnut tree. As long as this exists, the sunshine, the cloudless skies, I cannot be unhappy." End quote. Anne Frank derived a lot of joy and inspiration from that bare chestnut tree. Here's a picture of it right there, looking through that window in that attic in Amsterdam. When she was in that attic, maybe that's the only living thing she saw. Maybe she saw some birds or flying around though. Tragically though, Anne Frank died in concentration camp at age 15. The tree lived until the year 2010, 12 years ago, when disease and a violent thunderstorm brought it to the ground in Amsterdam. Arborists, however, were able to save several saplings from that tree. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm so delighted to tell you, I get a chill down my spine every time I do this. If you look out the window, you'll see a sapling from the Anne Frank tree. Look at it. A few years ago, it was a little stick in the ground. Look at it. It's growing up to be a big, strong tree. And just like it gave hope and inspiration to Anne Frank, hopefully it'll do the same to our wonderful visitors.
It's incredible. It's like full circle. I just finished this book last night, or literally like the wee hours of the morning. Right now I'm looking at a picture. It's like a movie. It's just, you know, pictures of her family, the annex, all of that. And the fact that that tour guide Jim said that is the white chestnut tree that's like right there, that was the only thing she could look at, you know, because she couldn't go outside, obviously. Oh my gosh. This is the camp where Anne Frank and her sister had passed. So as you guys saw, it was a lot, right? Okay, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys some of the things that I bought from the gift shop, because you guys know I can't go nowhere without shopping, getting something. So the first thing I got was this beautiful tote, and it's a quote from Anne Frank. And so I also got, what did I get? I got a beautiful little bracelet. They had a couple of these. It says, this one says believe. It's so pretty. I got a pin. And then I got a, of course I had to get a bookmark. I think that's all I got from there. Yeah. And then it just had like some pamphlets and things like that from the museum. So I had to, you know, get all of that. So yeah, that was all I bought. I actually did well. I was gonna get, if they had like another edition of the Diary of Anne Frank. They just had like the traditional cover, and I wanted something that was kind of like almost kind of like exclusive. I might get that graphic novel, but yeah, I do know I am going to get another copy of the Diary of Anne Frank, because you guys know if I like a book, I will get 2 copies, and I really annotated and highlighted in that. So I want a pretty fresh copy that I can just display on my bookshelf. So I will be getting another copy, and I want to get like a, you know, a really pretty edition. Even maybe actually I can just get the same edition of this one, because I really love this. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you. Just amazing, isn't it? Just, there's no words when it comes to the Holocaust, when it comes to Anne Frank. It's like I said over and over again, it's undescribable. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more black books. Bye.
And there was a level of tension as you entered the room. They waited anxiously for you in a row. They waited for whatever you might say. That made me feel dreadful. Only Anne would greet me and say, "Hello, Miep. Got any news?"